control flow activities. So what actually we mean by control flow activities? Flow activities is nothing but the activities which control your execution or work or process. Which means these activities will define how your execution should happen, how your flow should happen. And these activities are responsible for. Guys, is the word lettering is clear good enough, or do you want me to increase the font size?
Little bit increase the font size.
So you should ask me, right, guys? In case if you are feeling some discomfort, right, please let me know so that like we can work on it, right? Is it good enough?
Yes. Okay.
Perfect. Go ahead.
These activities are responsible for defining the process rules, or you can say handling. Because we just need to have some process validations in place, right? So these control flow activities will be responsible. So which means like all these are related to conditionals. Means like we will be putting a condition and we will check whether it is a true or false. So based on that, it will let me rename it to control flow activities. And what are those activities? Decision, flow decision. Sorry, decision is the flow decision. Switch, flow switch. Then let me open that again. What are the different activities that I mentioned there? I'll do while. For each is different. It is not truly a conditional flow, but as we are discussing the loops here, right? While and do while. So I thought of like adding the same for each also here. So these are the 7 activities. Do we have any other activities? Did I miss something? Yes, there is a new activity which is introduced by UiPath, which is else if. So initially we used to have only if, but now we got the else if as well. So these are the different activities we need to look in for the control flow system. Give me a moment, guys. 1 second. I'm sorry, guys. So these are the different activities we have in order to control your execution flow. So let us see one after the other. So see, when you're talking about if activity, right? Everyone knows about this if activity, right? Because in any of the programming languages, even in our mathematics also, we will do the checking, condition checking. So it will be like if you have a condition, when you say condition, it will return whether it is a true or false. And in case it is true, action needs to be performed. If it is false, action needs to be performed. Here in UiPath, the true is nothing but it will be written as then, which means in case if the condition is true, then what we need to do. Here it will be else. In case if it is not true, what else we need to do? So this is the functionality of if condition. So the same thing will be applicable to the if activity as well. So when we drag and drop if activity, we will see that then and else. Let us take the if condition here. We have a condition. We can say 1 equal to 1. If it is true, then it will go to the then condition. See, we will go with more complex conditions as well, but I'm just writing and we'll take the else. So here we kept the condition 1 is equal to 1. See, generally the conditions will be not in this way because we never compare the conditions with the constant versus constant. Why? The reason is if in case it is a constant versus constant, then all the time you will get either true or a false. It will not be changing. But generally we will use these activities just to check whether our variable values are as expected or not. Variable values are matching or not. So the condition should never be constant to the constant. Here, just for the if condition explanation purpose, I'm using it, but generally we will not keep any constant versus constant comparison. If we run this flow, we got the true because 1 is equal to 1. And let me put 1 is equal to 3. And let us run this. So whatever the message box we kept, right? So inside this, then we will do some actions which may need to be performed as per the business process requirement. Like as per the process, if the condition is matching, we may need to do perform some steps, and if it is not matching, we may need to perform some other steps. So that is how this execution flows will happen. So this is about the if activity. And now and let us take the else if. See, there won't be much difference between the if and else if. See, here, what it will do is when you are saying else if, which means there might be an if already or it might not. And when you are saying that else if, here also you will put the condition. Okay? And in case if this is true, we will do the action. If that is false, it is not necessary to do anything, or you may need to do anything. Again, you may get one more else if. When you want to see like different conditions, if you want to validate different conditions, and on each condition level, if you need to perform a different actions, so in that case, we will be using an else if. Here in the if activity, right, we have a possibility of checking only one condition, but here first we will be checking one condition. If that is true, we are going to perform the action. If this is false, it will go for the second condition. And just remember that in the else if, always the condition evaluation will be in sequential from top to bottom. It will not look for each and everything, and like it will not go on like whatever is true, everything will not be executed. In the sequential order, let us suppose if I have one more. Here we have in this scenario, right? Let us suppose this is false, this is true, and this is also true. So it will not execute this block because the second condition itself is true. So it will go and execute this block. So this is how else if activity will work. And let us see that in the UiPath. Here we can put the condition. We can have an else if. We can have one more else if. Let me make these. This is also true. So let us consider this is block number 1, block number 2, and block number 3. And in case if you want to have an else, we can have an else as well. Here it is not necessary for us to put the condition. In case if you doesn't want some condition, you can just click on this cross mark so that that condition will be removed. You can remove this else. So here, let us go with the box. This is the block number 1, right? And this is number 2. Block number 2. So if you see here, right, these two conditions are true, so it will give you only the second one. Second. And it has got execution is complete. Let us suppose this is also not true. Let us run this. Then the third will be executed. So it will evaluate the conditions in a sequential order, and whatever the condition is true, and that block will be immediately executed. It will not go and check for the next evaluation condition. This is how the else if will work. So do you have any questions for these two? If and else if? Other guys, Atish, Satish, Vinu, Ravindra. Everyone is clear about it? Perfect. So, guys, I see just for time being, I'm just telling you guys, and it is not necessary that like you need to remember all the time, but as a best practice, in case if you have multiple if conditions, right? Generally, like in case if you need to perform any actions, we will use these if conditions, but only for assigning of some variables, right? There will be a possibility that we just need to assign some value to a variable in case based on some condition. Let me take an example. I have a final variable. I'll call it as a final variable. Okay. And I'm just putting in some random scenario here. Okay. Here, date is equal to today. Then day equal to hypothetical scenario. We may get similar scenarios in going further in project. So I'll tell you there as well. But I'm just giving. So I have a date variable. Let me put it as date variable. If the date variable is holding system date, then I'll assign the date value to it. If not, else variable is equal to nothing. I'll just put it in a double. So this is what I want to do. So how you will generally write it? Tell me, guys. You can unmute and you can tell me what will be your thoughts. What will be the activities you want to use for this? Please. So, you guys are there?
Yeah, can you please repeat one more time, Parth?
Yeah, sure. So I'm taking a date variable, and inside that I'm giving a value. So before that, let me do one thing. So I am having a date variable, okay, and it is holding a value if that date is equal to system date, okay, today's date. Then I want to assign this date variable value to this day variable value, or else the day variable value will be none. So I can put in this way as well. Okay, so this is my syntax. Did you understand or like have any query?
Yeah, so I think we should use assign activity first, then we go with the if activity.
So yeah, let me write down what I was saying. Date variable, I'm writing 03052023, right?
Correct.
Now what I need to do?
Then we have to take the if activity.
Okay. And I need to write date variable is equal to now
Now, yeah,
dot to string,
to string.
and I need to give the format, right?
Correct.
dd hyphen mm hyphen forwards. In case if it is true, again I need to use the assign activity, right? Day variable equal to date variable, right? That's what actually the requirement is, right? And in the else case, we'll have the assign activity. Day variable equal to nothing. This is how we want the. So this is what our syntax is, and this is how we generally code, right? Correct? Everyone agree? Do you have any other alternatives to do? If you have something, please let me know. So we will use a message box to display this. Day variable. Whether we have. Okay, let me run and see. So it is giving a value. In case if I change something here from 3 to 5, it should not give me any value. I got the null value. So it is working as expected, right? Everyone?
Correct. Yes.
So this is countless because we are explicitly giving this value to this variable, and from this if condition we need to think. So here we use the if condition, and inside that in the then case we used assign activity, else case we used assign activity. This is how our development was done. So instead of that, let me write a small code. Here I want to have the value to day variable. Okay, right? In case if this condition is true, if and in the bracket this condition and a comma, if it is true, I want to have a day variable, date variable. If not, it will be null. Let me expand this. So what I am doing here is I'm writing if in the bracket here opening and closing of the brackets, date variable equal to now dot toString, whatever the condition we want to keep, comma, if that is true, what value need to go, if that is false, what value need to go. So this is the syntax of writing an if condition for assigning values based on a condition. And let me remove this. Let us run this. The value is assigned. So instead of, see, which code is much more cleaner, this one or the previous one?
This one. This one.
Yeah. So like, see, these all things will come under the best practice because see here you have only one if condition. In case if you have multiple if conditions, one after the other, we need to keep on adding else if, else if, else if, and it will go lengthy and lengthy, right? Here also, again, what we can do, in the else case, you can put one more condition. So here, instead of 1 equal to 1, you can have one more condition. If that is true, what value need to go? If that is not true, what need to go? So you can build hierarchical multiple if conditions. So this is how we can, like, this will work only in case if you are trying to assign a value to a variable based on some condition. This you generally get in most of the cases. So writing of the cleaner code is also equally important because the optimized way of writing the code is much more important as a developer. Not only right, see, let me put in this way. As a developer, the first priority is functionally working code. Code execution performance. Optimized code is nothing but like the performance execution, and clean code, which means as per best practices for readability. So these are, we need to think of all these things, not only whether the code is working or not. That is the first priority because, and see, the basic thing is your code should work. Without that, we cannot do any service. Once the code is working, then we need to look for the performance and the readability. So these are equally important. And why you need to have a clean code is if someone goes and checks the code, as per the best practices, if you are developing, someone can easily understand. And when I say readability, uh, instead of having multiple blocks and all this loop inside a loop and all these things, many people will write. So we should avoid and we should come up with some better coding, better code or a better solution design. Got it, guys?
Yeah, Path, can you please move to the code itself? Can you show one more time?
Sure.
I have some question. So here basically, yeah,
This one
in
you're
the
asking?
assign, right? Yeah. So basically in the assign, basically we basically pass the now, right? So basically now give the current date, right? That current is basically in the form of integer, right? That we are converting it to a dot to a
No,
string.
not integer,
Now
not
when,
integer. It is in the datetime format.
okay.
It's a
Okay.
datetime variable.
So basically, why you basically mentioned that format as well after the two string like dd, mm, yy? Already we are getting right that for date format, right?
See, I'll tell you. No. Here we have a date variable with this format. Okay. And let me put one thing. It may give you the same format. I'm not denying it. In case if it is giving you the same format also, it will not give. But even if it is giving you the same format also, it is always you need to take care that like you are giving in that particular format, or else you need to convert this into the date time. Because in case if you misinterpret the date, then it is there will be a high chance of failure, right? So we need to write the conditions in very stringent way that it is like going as expected. See here, it is 05 hyphen. So in this way it is coming. End of the story, it is a string, right? The string comparison will be apple to apple. Got my point? Why we are explicitly defining the format?
Correct. Yeah.
So it should exactly match.
So can we call, I think, this type of basically that query, like we can call that a link query as well, right? This is, I think, link query, no?
No. Link queries are something that which we are going to perform operations on a data table. Because
Okay, on data table.
yeah, because see, I'll give you the reason. Put everything on the notes so that like it will be easy for us. So when we say link queues, right? See, database, we will be using SQL, query language, right?
Correct. Yeah.
What you will have in the database? Tables. So to read from the tables or to put some data into the tables or to combine the tables or join the tables or to do any manipulation on top of the tables, we will be using query language for a database.
Correct.
Data table link. Even this is also query language, part of your C# programming language or VB programming language to manipulate data on the tables. So it is giving you a flexibility of considering this data tables when you are dealing with multiple data tables as well is similar to how you are dealing with database tables. So this link queries is something that which is giving you flexibility to perform actions on the tables similar to how we do on top of a database.
Okay, on database. Okay.
Yeah. So link queries is completely completely dependent on data tables, and majority of the cases, right, we will use select query. Like see for reading of the data from data table, database you might have seen, right? In majority of the cases, people will start saying like select star from. In the similar way, dot select we will use here because it's the .NET methods and all. So we will see, like, see, I may not able to give you a complete knowledge on the link queries, but I'll tell you like where to use, how we can get link queries from the internet. Okay. Yeah. So these are related to if condition, if and else if. So got it, guys?
Yeah.
And what is our next activity? Flow decision. So what do you think the difference between the if and the flow decision? Guys, please.
Flow decisions.
Yeah, please go ahead. Guys, please. Please go ahead, guys. Tell me.
See, basically, flow decision is like, see, if we want to change the process, right, based on the our flow chart or workflow, right? In that case, basically, we use the flow decision, right?
So based on condition, you just need to
Correct.
mention as condition. But there is no difference when you compare the flow decision and if condition. Both are same, identically same. The only difference between those two is if condition you will be using in a sequence, and the flow decision you will be using in a flowchart workflow. You see here, right? You cannot use it in the sequence. And let me do one thing. You can get a flowchart here. And inside it, you can get the flow decision. So which means, see again here, you will be writing the condition, what are the condition you want to have, and in case if it is true or false, let me do one thing. So in case of false, what needs to be done? In case of true, what needs to be done? So there is no difference, right? The only difference is if condition is in sequence, let us take the if condition as well.
It means we can't use that flow decision directly in the sequence.
No,
We have to use through the that flow chart, right?
and
Okay.
even if condition, we can use it here in the flowchart. It doesn't have any problem.
Correct.
But the flow decision cannot be used inside of sequence. Let me try to show you that as well. See, it is not accepting. Here it will accept again. This is how. Because this is for the flowchart. The name itself is suggesting that flow decision. Right? That is the only difference. Okay. Yeah. Let us go to which activity. So, can we say a refined form of if with some limitations and minor advantages? Can we say that for the switch? I'll explain the reason and let you know whether this is true or false. Okay. So you want to check a variable equal to 1. True. False. In that case, if variable equal to 2. True.
So basically, in other programming language, we used to basically like case 1, case 2 for the switch activity.
Yes, yes, yes. If variable equal to 3, true. So let us suppose if I have till 10. So I'm not doing anything. I'm just checking this variable is 1 or a 2 or a 3, and based on that, I need to perform the actions. So I need to go one after the other, right? So in case if I need to write the same thing in UiPath, how many if conditions do I need to keep inside of each and every else? And that I'll be going mad, right? Like let us suppose I need to go for till 10, and I'll be going mad for having these many if conditions, and checking of the code back is also a problematic thing. Agreed? So what we will do is we have a switch case. Let me create a variable. I'll put it as an integer. You can have any type of it. But in case if you are using a string, then you need to change your type argument here. So whatever the variable, the source variable to which you want to check, whatever the type you have, the same type you need to have as a type argument, which means the comparison on which type of variable you are doing. And here it is int32. So I'm selecting int32. And in case if you want to go with the day variable, you can go with the string. So here it is variable 1. So it is not giving me any error. In case if I say date variable, which is of string, it will give me an error that the type argument string to integer cannot be converted, because here the type argument is integer. If I change it to the string, then it will not give you error. So we will go with the variable now, and then the properties will change it to int32. So now we given the variable. So we said like case can be 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm just keeping only 4. Let me put a message box here. Is default. So these are my switch cases. So instead of in case if you want to write here, right, you may need to write 4 if conditions, like in such a way. Variable 1 equal to 1, and then the else. This is was previously, but now you have an advantage of else if. You can use that as well.
I think in the recent version, basically, UiPath teams had, right, else if?
This was recently came.
Ah.
But even here also, I'll tell you the reason why I'm not suggesting to go with the else if and why I suggest to go with the switch case. see here, the case 3 is already exists, so we cannot put again the same condition here. So we'll go with 4. Instead of 4, by mistake I kept it as 3. It will accept. There might be a possibility of doing such a silly mistakes, right? Again, we need to debug. And also here, right, I can minimize to this, minimize to this, minimize to this, minimize this. So we can have in this way, but still it is kind of this. But here in the switch case, right? So whatever the case you are looking, only that will be expanded, the others will be minimized, and it will give you the clear picture also, like with which you are comparing this variable. And the default is else condition. Wherever it is not matching with any of these condition, it will come here. So this is the advantage of switch case. Got it? There are two advantages. One is like to avoid the comparison of same condition again, and also the readability purpose, both. So it will be default because we didn't assign any value to it. Let me assign a value to it, 4. It is 4. Okay. So this is the advantage of switch case. So can we say, because see, you cannot do the complex operations here, right? Again, only if you want to have a true or a false, we cannot do that. When you have multiple conditional checking, then only we will be using it. So can we say this statement? The minor advantage is only one thing. When you are having a variable, and if you want to check whether that variable is matching with a set of values or not. Okay, guys, everyone with the switch activity. Switch. Can someone tell me what is flow switch activity?
It divides the flow into based on any condition. If it is true, it will go into one sequence. If it's not true, if it is false, it will went to the another sequence.
It is flow decision, not the flow switch.
Oh, sorry.
So, no need to sorry, man. At least you should try to answer something. For making any mistake, then we'll come to know, right? You'll come to know. If not, you'll never know. Let us go with the flow switch. So again, here as well, same thing will happen, but this is in flowchart and the switch is in sequence. That I can have 1, 2, 3. So I'll just drag and drop here. Default. This is case 1. This is case 2. So in case if I go here, properties, right? Type argument. We can change it to the string. Same, right? In the switch case as well. And if you click on this, whatever the navigation connection you have, if you click on that, here you can put the case. Either 4. So it's up to you, the value. Like in the similar way, whatever we have did in the switch case, we just need to make it here. So in this properties we have. In case if you want this to be some case and not the default, just check this as a default. Okay. What I will do is I'll just uncheck this and I'll put, we just need to give the case, and here we will check this so that this will become a default. So the only difference between the flow switch and the switch is flow switch will be inside our flowchart, and the cases we will be defining based on the connections between any sequence to which it is flowing. So here we will be putting our connection, case number. Got it, guys, or any doubt? Save as its activity, and this activity will be used in Here, guys, are having any doubts here? See, these are the very basic activities, but we will be using many places. Thanks for the confirmation. So we're done with the the flow decision activities as well. Now we will be coming to the loop. The most commonly asked interview question is, what is difference between while and do while? This is most commonly asked interview question. So what is the difference between while and do while?
Do while it's just like condition will be continue until I mean the certain condition
While is
or
also while will also continue. So till the time the condition becomes false, do while will also continue, right? So while condition to
do while will be stop in that case.
action,
I think so.
no, false, come out of loop, right? Just like in case if the condition is true, it will go inside and it will perform the action. In case if the condition is false, it will come out of the loop, right? Agree or no? Let me do one thing. I'm just putting this as true. Don't put any conditions. Inside the body of while. We got it? We are getting like till the time, every time it is true, right? Which means it is in an infinite loop because we kept it as a true. Yes, if I mark it as a false, let me run this. You will not see the message box because it's a false. So in case the condition is true, it is going into the loop. If it is false, it is not executing the whatever we have inside. So is the statement correct?
Yes, yes.
What do while do? Do while action
I think action are executed first and then met with the condition. If that is true, then we again execute that action.
while condition to action false come out of loop. So this is how. So it will perform the action, it will check the condition. If it is true, it will perform the action. If it is false, it will come out of the loop. So what is the difference between these two in this scenario now? If you put everything line by line,
Only action basically added in the do while.
Which means it will execute the body, even checking your condition, and then it will look for the condition. If it is true, then again it will execute this body, which means like the body will be executed at least once, irrespective of the condition what you have. Here, only if the condition is true, then only it will execute the body. So let me do one thing. Well, I've taken it, I'm marking it as a false, and I'll have this body of do while. Okay, let me execute this. So all the conditions are false, right? Ideally, we should not have any message box, but here we got do while because it is executing the body and then it is going for the condition check. Click on OK, it will come out. Because it's a false, again, it will not go inside of. And here it is false, it will not go inside of. Correct? Okay. So, guys, you got the clarity, right? Okay, perfect. And now, what I want to do is, see the condition is true and this is going on in infinite loop. Based on some condition, I want to look for one condition, and based on that, I want to come out of this loop, and not only from here, here also. Okay. So let us not do from here. We will show that, but just keep one thing in mind. I'll use one more activity break, and I'm just putting it here, and I'm putting it as true. Ideally, this should go infinitely, right? If you remember last time, we just keep on coming this message box. And now we will get the do while message box once. We got it inside the while loop. So which is this. Click on OK, and it just got stopped execution because we kept the break. So it will break the complete loop and it will come out of this irrespective of this condition. It will not even go for the checking of the condition again if you use this break activity. And whatever you have after this activities will not be executed under this while or a loop, whatever the loop you are using it. So I can say any actions defined after break activity inside the loop will not be executed. And also will not continue the loop and it will come out of the. Got it? Majority of the cases you may use that inside your for each and for each row. Because for the while also you have a possibility of checking this condition. But so end of the story, the condition will, in case if the condition becomes false, then it will break the loop. So breaking of the loop may or may not required on these two loops, but this break will be required in for each and for each row for sure. So do you got the clarity of all these activities till now, whatever we discussed? In case if you are clear about it, then we will go to for each loop. If not, like let me know your doubts so that we will have a one more discussion. There is nothing wrong. Okay. Thanks. So we are having only one activity, which is for each. See here, when you say for each, right? Here you don't have any condition in place. So the for each is something that loop through all your collection, which means it can be array or list or dictionary keys. So this is to loop through all the collection whatever you have. Let us suppose you have an array 1 comma 2 comma 3 comma 4 comma 5. So what it will do is for each value in, again the item in array, it will be performed. And once you complete all these values, you loop and you completed all the values, then you will be coming out of the loop. So let us try to see what actually happens. Let me define an array. A variable array of integer. I'm just taking integer because it is easy to perform the define the values and easy to do the things. But you can try with other data types as well. I don't want to do anything more. So let us go with the for each. I'll just try to put a message box. That's it. I will not do anything. List of items. See here, if you see right, it is saying that list of items. I'll go with array variable. And here we have again. One second, guys. This properties only, right? That's all. So automatically it is taking for each system.int32. Previously, it was not taking it. Previously, we used to manually or explicitly mention what type of argument it is. Like if you see right in the switch case, we have shown like type argument. So in the similar way, it was in the previous enterprise edition, and you may come across the same version again. So you just need to check it out. Like you just need to keep that in mind. There might be a possibility that you may come across the type argument there you need to change. Here it is automatically getting changed. So let me do one thing. Let me create one more variable, array of string. And what I'll do is instead of array variable, right, I'm putting the variable 1. And here in the properties, it is changed to for each system.string. Type argument is string. So whatever the type of array we have, that is automatically taking the things into the consideration. But previously, there is a property which is type argument, and we used to change from there. And now, like for each item here, from the list of items. So this is current text. From current text to, you can say var number. So it is up to us what you want to use. So whatever you have here, that will be your variable inside your body, which is holding the number. So I'll go with the box here. And I want to print this var number. Okay. And let me run this. I got 1, 2, 3, 4. So the execution is completed. So whatever I have inside my array, all those values are, for all those values, it was executed, displaying of the number. So what I will do is, I'll put an if condition here. and I'll say var number equal to 3. I'll use a break activity, which means, so I want to print all the 3 numbers, and once the third number is received, then I want to break. 1, 2, 3. The execution is stopped because we use the break activity. So based on this condition, so in the for each, once I reach this number, I don't want to continue with the other numbers. And we have one more property in the for each. Let me hit Control K. Index item index, you can say. Let us do. Let us run this one. We have 1 at the 0 index, 2 at first index, 3 at second index, 4 at third index, 5 at fourth index. So the reason, the advantage of this is, in case if you don't have this index, some scenarios when you are looping through all your array values, you may need to come across the index number. So for that, again, explicitly, we may need to use index of method, or you may need to have a separate counter variable to be defined to see the index. So now we can utilize this index output variable also to know the index of the item which we are trying to process. So are you clear with all these things, whatever we discussed till now? Like we covered one more activity, right? Let me add that here. There is one more activity, yeah. So when we are keep on saying, right, we are keep on getting some new. So let me do one thing. I'll use continue activity here, not here. I'll put an if condition. If var number is equal to 3, then I should put this above this. Here, I'll use continue. In case of I use, right, it will not give us any picture. So here what I have done is, in case the variable number is 3, which means here it is third item, then I'm saying that continue, which means it will not execute whatever is there after this continue for that particular index. And the next index will be printed. If you focusly observe, now number 3 will not be printed. I got 1, I got 2, I got 4 directly. So there is no 3 because we use the continue, so that will be skipped. I got 5. So let me write the continue also here. Where is the break? We have written here, it is, right? Based on the condition, whatever the action defined after continue activity for that item in the list will be skipped, and the next item will be executed. So this is the continue activity. So is everything clear, guys, till now? We covered all the control flow activities, and whatever we have in different also we covered. Now we are open for the questions, guys. Not only this, anything till now or any questions. Guys, I'm waiting to hear from you. Anyone else? See, these are the activities which is going to give you all the advantage of the things. In case if you are cool with this, then we are good to go. Okay, guys, if you don't have any questions, then I'll share the notes and the recording as well. Perfect. Thanks everyone. Thanks for joining. And we will
Thanks,
pick up
Parthiv.
tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow probably that guy that my friend will continue, but only for tomorrow, and he'll continue with the data table activities. And later we will continue with our continuation. Again, there also I'm going to try and like cover the data table.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Sure, Parthiv. So